It's
It's
like,
right.
I don't understand it. Patty L, they want places to hide evil like deception and to operate in darkness. Yeah, absolutely. Lucky, another outlet is the content of the dead suspect's journal, which mentioned a very large amount of drug use, specifically the use of LSD. Very possible. Uh, Mary from the chat, wow, thanks for covering this. Well, thanks for listening in. Make sure all you guys that are listening in that are first time watching this show or first time visiting here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's free to do so. HB Girl 99, I'm sorry, but a woman who identifies as male and man who identifies as female is freaking hilarious amidst a tragedy. Mary Sintek, how many people are part of this cult? Unknown. We do not know. We're just finding out about this from the reporting of two independent reporters, not the mainstream media. Design Rhythm, why would they check into the hotel in full tactical gear and face coverings? Yeah, good question.
Right.
Good question. Many people that are involved in crime do things that are inexplicit, that don't make any sense. And we used to say that's why we catch them, because they're not that smart. But in other areas, you would think they were super smart. Lucky. So the gun purchased by the guy connected to the homicides, correct? She bought the gun. That's what's confusing. She bought the gun in Pennsylvania, and we know that gun was connected to those two murders in Pennsylvania. But she bought the gun excuse me if I said it incorrectly. She bought the gun in Vermont. Now it was connected to a homicide in Pennsylvania, a double homicide. So unclear if Maximilian Schneider is the seller of the gun. Do you have that information, Mike?
Bill, I don't have that information at all, but it does appear that I'm guessing because he was a suspect and released, he's not cleared. They questioned him and released him as a suspect in the double homicide, and therefore she gets the firearm from him, and he is also been already accused of killing Mr. Lind, stabbing him to death on January 17th. I'm guessing he's fully capable of being the shooter for that couple in Pennsylvania. Just an educated guess, but I would think that that's his gun and that he's the killer in that case.
Absolutely. Donna Douglas, there was a cult like this in Island Pond, Vermont, in the Northeast Kingdom called the 12 Tribes. Police raided them in the 1990s. Lawrence Taylor, design our good question. Laying low and blending in makes more sense. It's like they were spoiling for a fight. Mr. Wonderful. So what do we know absolutely for sure? We know that Teresa Youngblood is the shooter of the Border Patrol agent. She's been named the shooter in court filing paperwork. She was just in court arraigned on Monday. She goes back to court, I believe, on Thursday. They're actually going to petition the court for bail. I mean, if there was ever a poor risk for bail, she is absolutely it. Susanna Branch, thank you, Bill. I forwarded this stream to all my law enforcement friends. Susanna, thank you so much. Share us with all your friends and your family. Mary Syntax, true, they have money. Design Rhythm, probably on meth or something, very possibly, It is a really, C. Carrera from the chat, Maximilian Snyder, passionate scholar, data scientist, and creator. You get to take on challenging problems and systematically derive creative solutions. Well, C. Carrera, I read what you just said, from his LinkedIn profile. Yeah, he is no dummy. And either, in fact, is Teresa Youngblood. She had a degree in computer science also. So they have the skills that these subversive groups, these terrorist groups, if you will, Mr. Wonderful, gun range experience, unknown. But, something, if you're in an area like Vermont is gunland, and many people, even while we were doing this show, said, look, I live in Vermont. I drive around all the time with my gun or guns in my car. It's, a place that you want to be able to, flex your Second Amendment and protect yourself if need be. Mike.
Yeah, Bill. It's I think it's next to Texas. It's probably they probably won't have the most liberal firearms carry laws in the United States. So therefore, as we find that if you make a car stop as a law enforcement officer, like in Texas, you have to assume, and you probably will be correct, that someone in that car has a firearm. And so therefore you get this group here. And I was looking at the some of the stories that we know about that were reported from San Viejo, and I'm thinking the group at this point had about 6 members altogether. By looking at who attacked Mr. Lind, who survived the attack, who's in prison. I'm thinking at this point right now, we believe there's about 6 people. If you read between the lines in the story, it's a small group, about half a dozen at this point.
Absolutely.